Hi everybody, Amethyst Moonflower here. Sitting here in my sanctuary next to my altar, got my sage and my essential oils, and it is the beginning of the new year, 2019. And you know what? Everybody spent all of December getting so excited and so amped up, including myself. I was so ready for the new year. And today's topic is going to be about setting spiritual goals or lifestyle goals like your New Year's resolution, getting really excited about it, and then January slump hits. And all of a sudden, everything that you had going for yourself, suddenly, what happened? You know, we all go through it. Every year, everybody goes through it. I go through it especially really hard this year. Like December, I spent pretty much the whole month planning and getting ahead in what my goals were going to be for 2019, thinking about where I wanted to grow, what I wanted to do, my business, my personal self, you know, my spiritual self, like all these goals that I had, like literally sat down with bullet journal, happy planner, regular journal, book of shadows. Like I literally spent overdoing it. Literally, I was overdoing it. But I was so excited for it. I was so passionate for it because I was like, 2019 is my year. I'm going to, you know, drink a bunch of water, eat a bunch of healthy vegan food. I'm going to exercise every day, yoga, hula hooping, dancing, you know, get my body moving. I'm going to, you know, meditate every single day. I'm going to focus on, you know, my business goals, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I put a lot of energy into thinking about who I wanted to be and where I wanted to go and how I was going to get there. And then what happens? January 1st shows up, it's the new year, and poof, you know, nothing happens. And I spent almost the whole beginning of the year so far, the last 2 weeks, literally depleted. No motivation, no desire to get up and do anything, barely keeping up with the house, kind of feeling almost depressed, you know. And I'm like, what happened to all of that awesome fire energy that I had and all these magnificent plans that I set for myself? What happened? And I feel like this happens to pretty much everybody, whether you're in the spiritual community or not, or any, you know, it doesn't matter. It happens to everybody. You set goals, you set resolutions, you see yourself succeeding, and you see yourself being this awesome, great version of yourself, and then it all just vanishes into smoke, and you're like, man, now I'm behind schedule. Now, how do I get back up on track? How do I catch up? And then the more farther you fall behind on what you think your plan is, the more depressed and stressed out that you get, and the farther and farther away from your goals you get. So, I did a lot of soul searching in this time because I kind of feel like, you know, I was definitely not alone in this. And I do feel like there's, you know, some astrological play going on here, because after I thought about it, you know, we had a lunar eclipse. Wait, I'm sorry, a partial solar eclipse on the new moon at the beginning of January, and then here next Monday on the 21st, there's going to be a lunar eclipse on the full moon. So we are literally smack dab in between a solar and a lunar eclipse between the new and the full moon of January. And you know, last year we also had a solar eclipse on the same Leo full moon. I'm sorry, I keep saying solar. I get mixed up. Lunar, the blood moon. Okay, we had one last year, but this year it's a little bit more powerful than it was last year. And I do feel like myself personally, it's been affecting me a lot being stuck in the middle of these eclipses, because I am a water sign and I got this really very, very strong earthy Capricorn energy, but then I also have this really, really strong Leo energy, and plus the 2 eclipses. You know, it's been really, really draining my energy, and it took me a moment to realize that that could be a possible factor that goes into this. But regardless of whether or not there's eclipses every year, we still suffer from these same things, and I think a lot of it has to do with the not going outside because it's cold outside and not getting enough vitamin D, and I think we might be setting ourselves up for failure by over planning and by overthinking. We set these amazingly high expectations on ourselves to be perfect and to live the perfect life and to be our perfect selves, you know, or even just better versions. And we stack the chips so high up against ourselves that when the moment comes and it's time to step into the arena and play the game, we freeze. Or at least in my personal experience, that's how it comes out, is that we freeze and the panic sets in, and it's like, oh my God, you know, this is going to be a lot of work. Because if you think about it, in order to grow, in order to become better versions of ourselves, we really have to dive deeper into our shadows, because our shadows play really, really big roles on our high vibration and you know, because, you know, they say the dark makes the light brighter. And so if you want to be a brighter light, you have to deal with your shadows. And setting all these goals and trying to become better versions of ourselves every year and trying to achieve everything that we want and setting ourselves up for failure, if we haven't done the shadow work and if we haven't done that deep inner self work and prepared ourselves for moving forward, then, you know, we are going to get stuck. We are going to fall back. And that's the challenge of it, is that, you know, I spent too much time thinking about everything else and not enough time thinking about my shadow self. Because in concept, the idea is that you have to, in order to make room for what you want, you have to get rid of, you know, the old to make room for the new. And if you haven't gotten rid of the old, then there's no room for the new. And that's what happens to most of us at the beginning of the year, is that we want the new, but we haven't taken care of the old. And when the new comes our way and we haven't made room for it, it just kind of, it's almost like we repel ourselves against it, and then we realize all of our shortcomings and all of the things that we failed at before, and then we start doing that negative self-talk, negative self-doubt, and then it brings us down into a, you know, mild depression or sometimes heavy depression. You know, I mean, I was really kind of in a stuck spot really, really bad, and there's really no other way to explain it, because I was like, I kept feeling guilty for not doing what I told myself I was going to be doing. And so I had to stop, and I had to refocus myself. And I had to think, what can I do right now in this moment to take a step to clear myself, because I really felt like I needed to clear myself. So, you know, I took a bath with some, you know, salt water, some essential oils, crystals, however, you know, you do a cleansing bath, however you do it. I use sea salt and things like that, you know, and I take my cleansing bath, and that helped, because then I finally got some of that negativity that I put on myself off me. And then eat light, you know, so that you're not weighing yourself down. I know it's Me personally, I suffer really bad during the wintertime, especially with eating really heavy, unhealthy food. I think it's because, you know, I'm stuck in the house more, and I'm just kind of like bored eating, and then I end up eating worse, really heavy stuff for myself. And when I eat too much stuff that's not good for me, it weighs me down, and then I'm not going to be motivated because I'm not fueling myself with the right things. So it's really important, especially if, you know, health is on your, you know, resolution list or goal list, you know, getting healthy or losing weight or anything like that, that it's important to remember that this is the time of year when most people eat the most unhealthy food because of the time of year that it is. And whether we're aware of it or not, that's pretty much what happens. It's the winter season. Well, at least in the northern hemisphere, it's the winter season, and we just came out of the holidays. And unless you was already on a really good health schedule through the holidays, it's going to be hard to be like, okay. So it's really important. Get that cleansing going. Eat light food, drink a lot of water, drink teas, you know, and things like that to kind of lift you back up a little bit. I find fruit really, really helpful for me because fruit is like, it just has a very high vibration to me. Vegetables are still really good for me, but I find fruit easier for myself to consume. And so I eat fruit or put fruit in my water and things like that. And that's been helping me and really forgiving myself. And that's another step, is that taking the time to realize that you have to forgive yourself. You can't be carrying on the guilt of not following through with your goals that you set for at the beginning of the year on day one. Okay, if it takes you 2 weeks to get back into the swing of things and you was down, it's going to take you time to get back up there and get motivated again. And if you need a couple weeks or even the whole month of January to heal and refresh and rest and self-care, 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 that's the real trick to all of this, is to really focus on self-care and what you need and not put all the pressure on yourself, because I know that you want so much to reach your goals, and you will reach your goals if you have the mindset that you will. But it's also important to remember that you have to take care of yourself and you have to do your shadow work. And I have really starting to learn this for myself. And when it comes to creating spiritual goals, I find that planning is very enjoyable for me. Like, I plan to just to plan. I make lists just to make lists. Like, it's something that I just always have done and always enjoy doing. Just writing and journaling and thinking about, you know, everything that I have to do. And I'm also really into making like crafty things. And so, you know, your vision board, there's lots and lots of videos out there that show you everything you need to know about vision boards. So I'm not going to sit here and explain what a vision board is or anything like that. I'm just pointing out this is my vision board for 2019, and this is, I love my vision board. I'll give you a little glimpse of it. I don't have a year word like some people do, but pretty much what I'm attracting here is my soul tribe, sisterhood of girlfriends, because honestly, I need more sisterhood in my life. I need more friends that are on my level, you know, and that are here to guide me and for me to help, you know, just to support each other and enjoy each other's company. I need girlfriends, you know, in my life that are into the same stuff and want to support me, and I can support them, and we can all just be one big, happy, hippie, spiritual, you know, soul tribe, sisterhood. And that is something that I'm really focusing on this year, is attracting those friendships, those lifelong friendships. Excuse me. And another thing that I'm really focusing on is kind of like my spiritual business and the aesthetic of it. Not like just how it looks, but also how it feels. Because I'm trying to attract my special space. The space that I'm going to be functioning in. I do have a space currently, but it's in my basement of a rented apartment, and it really, really restricts me to being able to run my business from home, because then if the landlord finds out, or if I overstep my lease rules, then I can get in trouble because I'm running a business out of my home. So one of my goals for this year is to manifest my dream home so that I'm no longer renting, and I'll be able to manifest my dream work from home environment, as you should say, because I do want to work from home. I don't want to have to rent a separate building for that. I want to do it from home, but I also want to manifest my home so that I can have that work from home space and not have to worry about stepping on anybody's toes and all that stuff. So this is really, you know, my whole year's manifestations, and I keep it here on my altar because it's easy for me to come down here and sit and focus and meditate on that. And another thing that I like to do at the beginning of the year is look at the astrology lunar solar cycle for the coming up year, doing the research, or you can buy calendars too. If you don't want to do it all yourself, you can go and find out what's the date of all the new moons, full moons, Sabbats, any kind of like retrogrades, what astrological sign each moon is in, the elements and all that stuff. Whatever you need to know about each one, finding the exact day of those things, so that like I can figure out for myself personally, if I know the exact day, I figure out what days I'm going to film, or what days I'm going to, you know, host a circle in my home if I decide to do that, or anything like that. It's good to know the exact day so that I can at least plan those days as close as possible and think about that. And I also really like to go through my inventory of supplies. You know, this is good for if you're a spiritual or witchy type person. This is the perfect time of year to go through your supplies and find out what you need. Because, you know, I personally like to stock up on certain things like candles and incenses and resins and oils and things like that. And if I'm getting low or if I've run out, I go through and I make a list of everything that I need so that, you know, I can go acquire those things, because I don't like waiting until the very last minute to go find that stuff. Sometimes it's easier to go bulk buy if I can, you know. So, and plus it saves you money. Like, you know, you can buy a roll of charcoal, or you can buy a box of 100 charcoals, and then you're set for the whole year, you know, or almost the whole year depending on how much charcoal you use. And things like that. And so that's a really good thing to do. And like I said, cleansing. Cleansing is really good to do this time of year. You're at home, so it's good to think about what can you donate, because, you know, all the holidays you bring in all these new presents that everybody gives you, and then you got an extra amount of stuff. So sometimes it's good to get rid of some older stuff to donate in order to make room for that new stuff. Once again, out with the old, in with the new. So I'm just trying to let the audience know that it's common to get down on yourself around this time of year, especially if you've been feeling blah or kind of down or kind of unmotivated, and you're like, man, don't be hard on yourself. Because I was hard on myself there for a minute, and the harder I got on myself, the farther away I got from my goals. And I had to stop, take a moment, take care of myself, and, you know, bring peace so that I can slowly start working on the steps that I needed to take and to accomplishing my goals. And it's good to have goals. It's good to set up goals, but don't allow the pressure to stop you from achieving them. So I hope that this was informative. I hope that this was supportive. And if there's anything that you want to say, whether it be a comment or a question, just leave it down below in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell, you know, all that good, awesome social media stuff. Share it, invite your friends, you know, because next Monday I got my live event scheduled and we're going to be doing that for the full super blood wolf moon in Leo. It was going to be some amazing stuff and I'm super excited about it. And that's going to be live here Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think that's right. I think. Anyway, thank you all for being here and I'll see you next time. Blessed be.